New details
All right, here's a great example of
tonight on the worst.
Here's a great example of like unbiased news coverage looking at the situation as a border crisis and framing it as though it's a crisis by just straight up adopting right-wing reactionary talking
situation
points.
At our southern border. U.S. authorities seen here deporting migrants, many of them families with young children, to Mexico. More than 5,000 unaccompanied minors now being held, facilities overwhelmed. ABC's national correspondent Matt Gutman.
Tonight, those new images capturing the heartbreak of migrants, many of them with children in their arms, deported to Mexico by U.S. officials at the southern border, with some saying they weren't told where they'd be taken. This mother from Honduras had hoped to reunite with her children's father in the U.S. She says, I only asked the U.S. government to give me one opportunity because my girl doesn't know her father. Ruben Garcia runs one of the largest migrant shelters in the U.S.
The vast majority of them are still being expelled back to Mexico.
The Biden administration now urging migrants not to come, but is facing mounting criticism for its handling of this surge.
This is the tip of the iceberg right here. The Biden administration needs to begin to step up and respond to this growing challenge.
And while DHS says it's turning back
The reactionary part of it, this is actually not as bad as like most of the fucking this is actually not as bad as most of the coverage that I've seen so far. But the reactionary part of it is literally just taking Greg Abbott and or taking like Dan Crenshaw and having like the right-wing concerns covered as though it's like a legitimate concern that like the overwhelming majority of Americans have without addressing them. Do you see what I'm saying? Like without actually correcting some of these fears as straight up fear mongering.
Single adult males in most families, ABC News has learned there are now over 5,000 unaccompanied children and teens in Border Patrol custody. That's a spike of 65% in just 2 weeks. It's an all-time record, and one Border Patrol facility for children and teens is at a shocking 1,550% capacity. Biden says his administration is scrambling to find space for them.
We will have, I believe, by the next month, enough of those beds to take care of these children.
At Garcia's shelter, Annunciation House, a busload of migrants from Haiti has just arrived. Adults wearing those ankle bracelets. Children playing with donated toys, and the sobs of a pregnant mother separated.
That shit's crazy, dude. Ankle bracelets, like
from her husband, who's detained by Border Patrol.
Like fucking animals, dude.
Garcia is worried about the wave of migrants to come.
I foresee that it could become something that we've never seen before, just in the sheer numbers.
And we're hearing more of those alarming predictions. We have Matt Gutman tonight from El Paso. And Matt, you reported there are over 5,000 unaccompanied minors in Border Patrol facilities now. These children are waiting to be transferred to longer-term sites. So what's causing this bottleneck?
And with they're being held in those Border Patrol facilities much longer than the legal limit. They are waiting because they anticipate being picked up by government officials who are supposed to take them to facilities specifically designed for children. The problem is the government can't create beds in those facilities fast enough, and there is rising concern among officials for those children's safety. Whit.
All right, Matt Gutman with that developing situation. Thank you.
Hi, everyone.
Okay.